What's up, YouTube? Just coming at y'all with a video on some of my updates. Not very many updates, but mostly this is a video talking about the best way to shut off a lawnmower. And if you guys have been watching my videos, there's a main theme across all of my mowers, and it has to do with this fuel shutoff valve right there. Even my push mower has one. And I'm not going to walk out there, but my my Craftsman push ride mower out there's got one on it also. And you know, the main issue with real quick before I forget, if you guys have been keeping up on my push mower videos, talking about this is a video about updates. This now has a side discharge. Went with the side discharge for a lot of different reasons. One of them being that when the grass can't come out, it will collect up underneath the deck, especially if it's wet. Even just a little bit wet grass will cake up underneath there and collect, and then also rust through the deck. And so also it's working your machine more. What I'm talking about is it's already cutting the grass from the yard, but then that grass is just keep going up and down in there, and it's chopping it up again and again and again. So it's working the machine even more and more and more, chopping grass. And so but also, and then also on this machine here, you can see all the grass there around right there in that little, I don't know, little valley there underneath the motor. That's because when you're using this mower with the mulching flap closed, it through the seams of the plastic there, and even on the mulching part, it was just shooting the grass up through there. So it's better just to open it up and just let it shoot out the side and not have to worry about it. So anyway, so to talk to you all about these fuel shutoff valves and what I consider is the best way to kill a lawnmower, or to shut it off anyway. The big thing today is with gasoline, and also the biggest issue with mowers. I would say 90% of mowers that I work on that are having issues with running or starting or both always has to do with the carburetor, and usually has to do with gumming up, varnishing, dirty, stuff like that. And so just wanted to share with y'all what it is and what the purpose is of those fuel shutoff valves and why I swear by them. Now, as far as the factory is concerned, the only thing they do is there is no fuel shutoff valve, but they put a let me see that, yeah, right there, fuel solenoid right there at the bottom of the carburetor. And what that does is actually, I guess, for anti-backfire, and because what it is, you got a tube that comes down right in the middle of your carburetor, and that fuel shutoff valve has a little needle that comes up to the end of that tube and shuts off the flow of gas into your carburetor, and also shuts it off to the motor. And now that all sounds neat and wonderful and everything. You know, it stops the gas to the engine, stops the gas to the carburetor, and also shuts the motor off. The issue with it, like I said, it's got that little needle that comes up to that tube. The issue is that, and I can't tell you how many times I've seen this, because almost all of today's gasoline has ethanol in it, and what ethanol is not that bad as long as it's running. When it's in storage, that's when ethanol gas is doing its damage. And And so that needle comes up to the tube and it shuts the gas that's going off into the engine. However, you'll see that that solenoid right above it is a big bowl. And so while it's shutting off the fuel flow into the engine, it's still got a big bowl of gasoline sitting there around that needle. And so what happens is that ethanol gasoline gums up around that needle so it can't move. And and then you start having hydrolock issues, or another thing too is that it either gets stuck open where, you know, it just lets gas flow through all the time, and you'll have hydrolock issues, but then also you'll have you know, where it's not starting because it's stuck shut. And so I've seen it both ways, and that's all because of ethanol gasoline. Now, yes, you can take that off, get some carburetor cleaner, spray it down really good, put it back, works, you know. But I don't know about you, but I'm not big on taking my carburetor off once a year or every 6 months or whatever, you know, to clean it. Granted, it's easy. I've got it all figured out, and it's not that hard, but it's just not something I want to do. I've got better things to do with my time than to have to tear down my carburetors all the time and clean them out, and all because of ethanol gasoline. And so so that's where the fuel shutoff valve comes in. And when I say killing the mower, shutting off the mower, what I'm talking about is when I start the mower up, I do not shut the mower off at the key. I shut the fuel valve off and leave the mower on full throttle, and once it's burned all the gas out, the mower dies. Even though it's still got gas in the gas tank, it just burns all this gas from here and in that bowl right there, in the bowl of the carburetor. And so I don't have to worry about the gas sitting in there gumming up there's also, you know, the main jets, and I'm not going to go into all the technical terms, but there's some orifices in there that that gas has to go through that's about as small as a needle. And when that ethanol gasoline sets in there, it corrodes and closes up those passageways. And but when you shut it off with the fuel valve, with the fuel shutoff valve and not the key, now I will say that, like when I'm out working in my yard and, you know, I'm gonna get off my mower and pick up some sticks and maybe do some weed eating, but I know I'm gonna get back on it in a few minutes, then yeah, I'll shut it off with the key. But as far as when I'm storing it, I'm done mowing for the day and I'm putting it up, all of my machines, I kill them with the fuel shutoff valve and not the key. And and I've never once had to worry about carburetor issues, starting issues, none of that stuff. So I suppose if y'all want to see a demonstration on this, I can show you on the red machine here, since I am about to move it. It's kind of a cold start. I haven't started this in a couple days, so I'm going to check the oil. Okay, oil's at a good level. Gas is at a decent level. Alright, so what I'm going to do, guys, is I'm going to pause this. I'll come back after it's started up and just show you how I kill the mower. So here, hold on a second. And that's it, guys. May be kind of corny that I just demonstrated that to you, but and I'll show you again. I know I showed you already, but see how the key is still in the run position because I did not shut it off with the key. As you can see, I shut it off with the fuel shut-off valve. Again, guys, when you shut off the fuel supplied to it, you don't have to worry about all the maintenance issues and cleaning out the carburetor and, you know, starting and running and all the things that comes with the dirty, bad carburetor. And you know, like I said, that Craftsman out there is actually my oldest riding mower, and it's actually the one I've done it that's got the oldest fuel valve on it. And never have I had issues with it starting and running. It's never gave me any issues. So you know, my suggestion is they're, I don't know, $4 or $5 depending on where you go get them. Definitely saves you heartache and time. Even if you are pulling a carburetor off yourself and cleaning it yourself, it saves you time. But if you're not and you're taking this into the shop, I'm telling you, it's going to save you some money by shutting it off that way, the way I just showed you. So anyway, also just wanted to show y'all, I think one thing I have not mentioned on this machine in the videos is one of the things I had to do when I rebuilt this engine was I had to replace the head gasket. And I made a video on that showing Briggs & Stratton head gasket failure. It's a common issue with these engines. And so I encourage you all to go back and watch that video. But I've not had any issues with it. Not had any issues since installing that fuel valve. And also installing that Walbro carburetor rather than Nicky that was on it. And none of my machines have issues. So you guys can take my advice. I would encourage you to, or not. It's up to you. So God bless and thank you for watching.